Hotel Southampton, a traditional steakhouse.
With the tall dark strangers there, Maverick is the name. Riding the trails of who knows where, luck is his companion, gambling is his game. Smooth as a handle on a gun, Maverick is the name. Wild as the wind in Oregon, blowing up a canyon, easy to contain. Riverboat, ring your bell, farewell Annabelle. Luck is a lady that he loves the best. Next to New Orleans, living on Jackson, Queens. Maverick is a legend of the West. Riverboat, ring your bell, farewell Annabelle. Luck is a lady that he loves the best. Next to New Orleans, living on Jackson, Queens. Maverick is a legend of the West. Maverick is a legend of the West.
Hi guys, how you doing? I suppose the tall, dark and handsome bit is a bit of a pipe dream really. But there you go. Thank you John Waite for sending me that piece of music to try and cheer me up yesterday. Bit down in the dumps yesterday, livid you could say. I'm still a bit livid now to be perfectly honest. It's all about the EU flags at HQ Northwood, which is our Royal Navy command and control centre, if you like, for Trident. So it's quite a high profile location. On Sunday, a photograph was brought to my attention through Twitter. It shows senior officers, Royal Navy, Royal Marines, seated at HQ Northwood alongside two EU flags. Now, I've scoured this photo and I can't see anything at all that even says this location is in the UK. But it clearly is the UK. That's the photo there. It probably don't show up too well on here, but it is my timeline. It shows there the First Sea Lord sitting in the middle. Picture in the background shows Margaret Thatcher having a discussion with Commander-in-Chief Fleet during the Falklands War, discussing tactics. And it also shows two EU flags. Now, one thing I've noticed, one of those flags has a gold fringe, gold/yellow fringe around it. Now, that set me off yesterday to do some research to find out what the yellow fringe actually means. Now, we do often have yellow fringes on our Union flags that we carry on ceremonial occasions. But why is there a flag or an EU flag with a gold or yellow fringe? If you look on Google about the EU flag, it doesn't mention the fringe at all. It says that you can buy them, but it doesn't say what the yellow fringe is all about. It just says that you can buy them. Now, if you look up through Google, it moves you on to the US and their yellow fringes. And I'll come more on that in a minute. With regard to the photograph, yesterday UK Column did their news show. They do it on a Monday, a Wednesday and a Friday, generally speaking. And yesterday they highlighted this photograph as well. So once again, I'm in a position where I have to thank David Ellis from Strategic Defence Initiatives UK and also Mike Robinson, who produces the UK Column show, for doing a fantastic job in highlighting the issue and keeping us all informed of what's actually going on in the world. If nobody's a member of the UK Column or they're unaware of the UK Column, I would urge you to go onto YouTube, type in UK column and subscribe. You'll find out loads and loads of information, not just about what's going on with regard Brexit, EU military unification, but lots of other good stuff as well. And if you Google ukcolumn.org, again, you'll find lots of information on that webpage. I'll add the links in. When I put this up online later, I'll add the links in. And I'll also link this into my YouTube channel as well, which is Maverick Veteran. So what do we see in that photo? I've already sort of said the thing that sort of disturbed me a little bit was the fact that there's two EU flags, but also one's got a yellow fringe. What's the ulterior motive of this yellow or gold fringe? Well, in 1895, that's the first real reference to a yellow fringe being on anybody's flag other than our own flags, which I said is for ceremonial use or for use indoors. Now, in 1895, it became commonplace to put a yellow fringe on military flags in the United States. But coupled with that, conspiracy theories suddenly came flooding in, because people in the United States noticed that these military style flags were going up in government buildings, embassies and courthouses. Now, it is only a conspiracy, but my experience with conspiracies is that there's no smoke without fire. Something always starts off a conspiracy. Now, it has been said that if you have a flag and it's got a yellow fringe on three of the sides, then yes, it's a military flag, but when you see that in a public building or a courthouse or an embassy, it's, if you like, pushing aside common law, civil law on our own sovereignty, and it's saying that whilst you're in that building, you're subject to some form of military law. It's saying that the person that runs that building, if you like, is the top of the shop, king of the mountain, the captain of the ship, and you're expected to do exactly as he or she says, irrespective of what your constitutional rights may be. Now, whatever your thought on the matter, it's up to you. But if there is any truth in the conspiracy at all, and bearing in mind that the EU is trying to build Europe into a super state, a federal state, and it's using the United States as its model to do this, could it be that they've been suckered into that conspiracy, and by having their flag at headquarters Northwood here in the UK, they're actually saying this is a European headquarters, it might be on your territory, but we are going to give you guidance and tell you what you can and cannot do from your own headquarters, i.e. they're taking over already from an EU military unification stance. Whatever your thoughts are, this is serious stuff, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, if and when Brexit happens, if we leave with no deal, great, we're under WTO rules. And this doesn't become an issue. If we leave with any form of deal whatsoever, and it includes the word security and mutual sharing of security responsibilities, make no mistake about it, when Mrs May and her government turn round and use the word security, what they're actually saying is military unification. It's as simple as that. Now, if we leave with a deal, but we still have mutual security with the EU, what that actually happens is that the command and control of our military is done by Brussels, and we have no say in the matter whatsoever. So to use an analogy, it's like saying, it's my train set, but I'm not allowed to play with it until the EU say that I can play with it. That's what EU military unification means if we're not part of Europe or part of the EU. Now, this obviously affects all our security. This affects Tri-Service, it affects MI5, MI6, Five Eyes. Five Eyes is the communication and sharing of intelligence between the 5 main nations that sign up to it, which is the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. But it also affects our internal police force. And that will be restructured in some way to fit in with the EU plan, if you like. Now, there's already evidence gathering, or growing, if you like, to say that the gendarmerie that is currently policing the yellow vest movement in France is a pan-European force. So it's not just French policemen stood there in their riot kit behind their black masks. That's a pan-European force. Now, if that's true, then EU military unification is already taking place by the 26 member states that have signed up to it already. And they're sharing their police forces for public order type issues. Now, we've experienced public order, and we're probably the best in the world at dealing with public order because of the years of the troubles over in Northern Ireland. Now, the good people of Northern Ireland found it difficult when we were doing public order because some of us thought that we were an external force invading their country. And I can understand that point of view when they are Irish and we British. But at the same time, even the British people within Northern Ireland found it difficult because we were intruding upon their sovereign rights in a way by carrying out personal checks, vehicle checkpoints, etc. So I can understand where they're coming from. Now, with that in mind, if you bear in mind that the government has already said that it's got 3,500 soldiers on standby for public order duties should public order break out as a result of Brexit, if we are part of a European defence force, will those 3,500 soldiers be homegrown, regular or reservist? Or will they be, perhaps, German, French, Dutch, Belgian soldiers in our streets taking care of public order issues? It's all food for thought, isn't it? At the end of the day. So what are we going to do about it? Or what do we need to do about it? Well, HQ Northwood is staffed by up to 100 EU personnel already. And we know that as a fact. And I let that information out on the 9th of December up in London on the Brexit Betrayal March. Now, because they're staffed by 100, There's EU flags already at HQ Northwood, so that shows that Brussels has already got a foothold in HQ Northwood. And we have to make sure that foothold is dislodged before they start to get a better grip on things in this country. So, my first off recommendation is, when this goes out later on today, please like and share it everywhere you possibly can. The photograph that's on my timeline that most of you would have seen, again, share that out to as many places as you possibly can. Let's make as many people aware of this as possible. In addition to that, get on Twitter and send a tweet to your local MP, irrespective of what party they belong to, and make them aware of EU military unification and ask them to broach the subject up in Parliament, because we have to break this parliamentary silence. And the only people that are willing to break the parliamentary silence at the moment is Gerard Batten, who's aware of the photo, and Lord Pearson, who is also aware of the photo, because I'd sent it to him last night. So let's make sure as many people know about this as possible so it can be broached both in the Houses of Parliament and the House of Lords. Now, whilst you're busy doing all that, I'll try and tweet President Trump, and I'll see if he can send his contractors over here to assist us when he finishes building his own wall. Because believe it or not, the UK and the US have got more in common right now than we've had in common with each other for more than 70 years now. The main difference being, unfortunately, is that our leaders are weak and extremely short-sighted, with absolutely no sense of history, no honour and no integrity. So they don't care if they send us down the Swanee, as long as they get what they want. The people of this country is sovereign, and they need to remember that. They are there to serve us. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we're at war, but on a political stage right now. So it's time for everybody to wake up, and let's start ringing those bells as loudly as we can to ensure they do wake up in time to do something about it. Because EU military unification is going to be dangerous, and it's something that's going to cost the people of this country far more than it can actually afford to pay. So that's all I've got to say, really. A little bit seething over it. I'm still researching it, and I'm still in close liaison with lots and lots of people to see what we can do to actually stem this before it gets more of a grip on our country, because we really need to not be in it, and we certainly don't need to be in it and at the same time not be in Europe, because we've lost total control over our military and other security services if that happens. So we need a no deal and no EU military unification. That's the idea. So anyway, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Like I say, share away, share it all over the place, all around the world. Get it out as far as you possibly can, please. And maybe we can win something back here. In the meantime, take care of each other. Don't suffer in silence. Don't be alone. If you need me, my lines, as always, are open 24/7. This call sign is out.